Okay, we're going to move on to onsemi with Kim. And I just want to say 1970, it was the environmentalists against the corporations, and we all know that's silly because we're one and the same. And onsemi is really showing that. And you have two responsibilities. You have your corporate responsibilities to your board, and you also have a moral obligation to the people you serve. So tell us about both what you're doing in-house operationally and also your products.
Sure, thanks. So we think of it as part and parcel of the same because, like you said, the days where it's really about the environment versus business is over. What we're seeing now in business is that it's good business strategy, not only because customers are asking for it, consumers are asking for it, but it builds resilience within our company. So in order to do that, we think of sustainability within the company in three main prongs, one of which is our products. So we want to be able to provide sustainable products. And then we think of it in terms of our operations. So in terms of our operations, we have a commitment to net zero by 2040, and that's across all three scopes. So that's scope 1, direct emissions, so the process gases that go into manufacturing semiconductors, scope 2, electricity, and scope 3, our supply chain. So these are significant commitments that we're making. And on the side, in terms of our product, 75% of our revenue last year came from sustainable products. So there's really buy-in from the organization, top down, from our design engineers to our top management, that this is material to our organization, not just in terms of net zero in our operations, but in terms of how this is going to make us a sustainable company, in terms of lasting for the long haul as well.
Can you just real quickly speak to the money, the financial reasons for doing this?
Sure. So not only is 75% of our revenue coming from sustainable products, and I touched upon this briefly when I talked about our intelligent power and intelligent sensing, the fact that we're intrinsic in electric vehicles in making the electric vehicles charge faster, provide it with longer range, allow decarbonization in the automotive industry because it reduces the barrier of entry for people to switch to electric vehicles. That's a big component. On the other side of that, it's about risk. So what the board really cares about in general of any private industry is that we're strengthening the organization. We're reducing our risk. And that's exactly what we're doing by thinking about environmental issues as risk to the company and as a pathway to build resilience.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, Ed, we're back to you on doing. So Kim, back to you. Is there a something that you're just beginning to work on, and or water? Those are two topics that come up a lot of times with our industries that you would want to tell us about, that you're excited about, and kind of give us some concrete goals and how you see us getting there.
Sure, absolutely. So I mentioned that we have a net zero by 2040 goal. So that's a very lofty goal, and it takes a lot of preparation and planning. So in December of last year, our CEO signed a commitment to the Science Based Targets Initiative to set near-term targets, which means that not only are these lofty goals that we're trying to get to, but that we have realistic and actionable milestones to get us there in the near term. And so that's what we're in the process of doing right now, which is engaging all of our stakeholders, because nothing is possible without the partnership of our stakeholders, internal and external. Especially when we have a commitment with regards to our supply chain. So that's what's really exciting for our organization right now, is to look at, what are the actionable steps, what are the targets, what are the technologies that we need to put in place on our manufacturing side, on our electricity side, on our renewable energy instruments and procurement in the future in order for us to get to this path, in order for us to hit a near-term target that the Science Based Targets Initiative community recognizes. And on the water side, what we're doing is baselining an understanding of, across all of our manufacturing operations, what is our water demand? Because when we talk about water recycling, we're also talking about water demand, because it's no good to recycle more and more water if we're just going to demand more and more water. So it's a very holistic view that we're taking towards our goals.
And do you have some short-term successes or some concrete, like what are we talking about in terms of dollar amounts, or in terms of, you've displaced a percentage of a coal plant in doing these goals?
Sure. So I'll talk about something that's really interesting when we talk about water and the ability to take waste and turn it into recycling. At a lot of our manufacturing facilities, we'll have wastewater. And that wastewater, not only will we have to clean it up to standards where it's okay to discharge, but we're also trying to look at is holistic ways to reduce our waste in general. So a lot of our plants have wastewater sludge. And what that means is it's the thick material that comes after wastewater treatment. Because of the composition of our wastewater and the wastewater sludge, what we're able to do in some of our manufacturing facilities is actually sell that sludge. And so this is a value proposition for our manufacturing facilities as well as for operations to think from the full cycle of how we operate and how we manufacture, where the revenue streams can come from, because on the business side, that makes sense both environmentally and operationally. So we take the sludge and then it becomes then a commodity for cement manufacturing.
That is really exciting. And I have to say, sewage is so valuable. And I've always been interested in sewage. So, Kim, I'm going to end with you. What makes you excited, just as a person and working in this industry, what do you see on the forefront that makes you, optimistic about our future in Arizona, but also as a planet?
Yeah, thanks. What I'm most excited about is the de-siloization of environmental issues and integration, both public sector, private sector, consumers. That's the trend that I see, having been in this community, in this environmental space for a long time. What used to be considered a very siloed issue as, this is the department that does that. That's not what we're seeing anymore. We're seeing more partnerships. We're seeing more across the board interaction. And that's what I really think that we need to get us forward into the next phase. And so that's really exciting for me.
I would say that's what's exciting to me as well. So this has been such an honor to be with these three guests. So, and I just want to thank the organizers and just really for having us here today. So thank you so much.